In this wonderful podcast, I talk to Ron Ives about his magical experience at Stonehenge. What emerges from our conversation is Ron's extraordinary affinity with the sun.
Hello, my name is Ron Ives. I'm here doing an interview. I've travelled several million miles in my lifetime. In all that time I've been observing things, whether it is the countryside, the birds, the animals, the sea, the sky, the stars. I am getting on in years now. I'm in my 80s and I got not so many years to go. One thing at the moment, this moment in time I'm talking, there's people right next to us in the village that are on a pilgrimage from church to church.
I didn't know that.
I'm not sure what date it is. It isn't sometime now in Lent. I'm in later life now, so I'm staying around too. But I have got observations over the years. One thing I have come across is mysteries. Mysteries of the earth. The earth in particular. One thing I have come across in my time is static electric in the ground. On several different sites, several different places. It's been in the news, it's been studied. One of these places, I would say, actually when we come to it, is Stonehenge. That's been for many years a pilgrimage for thousands and thousands of people. The actual reason why, no one can actually say. People go on a pilgrimage, they go for different reasons. But my observation is, people have travelled to Stonehenge. It's a central point. They've travelled north, east, south, west, and in my belief, they come together at the beginning of Stonehenge, where they were all on a pilgrimage, all going to a central point. And that would make sense in one way, because whenever Stonehenge was built, there was thousands of people who must have had to do it. Whatever time that was, there's some reason they must have got thousands, it might have been even hundreds of thousands of people in the same place, in the middle of Wiltshire countryside, with nothing there whatsoever. And now, after all that time, Stonehenge was actually built. Things like, where did the stones come from? There's many theories on that. Some say from South Wales, been carbon dated and come from certain places. Not all the stones. But it's a very strange place. I travelled there first when I was approximately 8 or 10 years old. It was a place we were passing, and we called in. I was in a car. It didn't belong to my family. It belonged to a local baker in the village, and I'm not sure actually where we were going, but we called off at Stonehenge, and I was under the impression it was some stones in a field. In my interpretation, the stones in a field was 2 or 3 foot high. When I actually seen it, whatever the size they are, 20 foot high and weighing 20 tons each, I was quite surprised. And I know someone had actually told me that you could put your hands on the stone and you feel vibrations in it. So I done that. I placed 2 hands on the stone. My father was there and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I've got to put my hands on the stone." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Just let me put my hands on the stone." And as I did, I had this sensation in my fingers and my arms, like electric shock, a miniature electric shock. It wasn't nasty, it wasn't pleasant, but it was like the whole thing was vibrating. Why or how, that's far beyond me, like, you know. But it's an experience I had, and Father, he was asking me questions after, and he said, "I'll do that myself." And he put his hands on the stone and nothing happened. He couldn't feel anything. And he said, well, how do you know this? I said, well, I just know how, he said. And he said, well, we've got to go to, I'm not sure where he said to, and back home the same day. And I said, well, that's no problem, we just got to go that way 70 miles and we're going to go that way 19 miles back home. And there's another question, he said, well, what, how do you know that? He said, you've never been here before. And I know at the time I actually used the words observation. I've always been observing different things around me. Oh, very strange, he said. And that is my first visit to Stonehenge and my experience. Since then I've heard of different reasons, different theories of how it got there, why it's there, whether it be a special place. It's still a special place for me. It's somewhere I've travelled by now in my lifetime 100, 200 times. And it's like a magnet, you've got to look over and see it. My thoughts come back to my first time of seeing it. Mm. I've actually got friends in Liverpool, and they come down to London, they come to the southwest, and every time they go to Stonehenge. And I've said to them, why did you do it? And they say it's a special place, we've got to go there. Why? I don't know. They didn't know. Mm. There's an attraction and somehow, something mystical, magic, whatever it might be. It's far beyond me, far behind me, beyond me.
Ron, can you remember what it actually felt like when you put your hands on the stone? Can you remember doing it?
Yes, it's exactly as if it was yesterday.
Oh, tell me.
It was the same feeling if you had pins and needles in your fingers or your toes. It was the same as a miniature electric shock. It was feeling some vibrations. Why it is, I figure if other people done the same thing. Mm. And if they went there, this is in the days when you could drive a car right up to the stones, yeah. You had access to the stones. It was a magical experience for me, that's all I can say. I don't really know why or how, but it did happen to me. And it's stuck in my memory ever since.
Because you've described the physical thing in your fingers really clearly, but I have the impression that it also impacted how you felt and how you thought. And then there's this strange thing about you...
Do you mean emotionally?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, emotionally.
I was brought up, big family. We used to travel around the countryside. In the days before cars, we used to walk across hills and valleys, different places. And I learnt to observe what was around me. After a few years, with my brother and sisters, we used to travel on our own. And I was always the one that knew the way home.
Wow.
It was much the same as another thing, is my grandfather's dog. Wherever we went to, we took the dog. It was 5 miles, it was 10 miles, it was 20 miles. And whenever we turned round, that dog wouldn't stay with us. Wasn't on a lead, he was roaming free. As soon as we headed from home, he was gone. He knew the way home wherever he was to. And it sort of got me. It thought, how does he know his way home? We were going places he hasn't been before.
Yeah.
But I study things as living in the country, whether it was the clouds in the sky, where the sun was at the time of day. I knew what was east, west, north and south. And there was always a time when I knew my way where to go. And over a period of time, I've travelled on the road. Altogether, it goes into millions of miles. And very often I haven't gone following road maps. I knew where to go.
Wow.
it's complicated to explain it. It could be the same in my brain as the same as a pigeon, a homing pigeon. For some reason, somehow, they know where to fly, don't they?
Yeah.
Like I say, there's not answers to all questions.
No.
But this sort of thing has affected me in my life. Not bothered me too much, but it has made a major effect on what I do and what I say, where I go.
Has it?
I wouldn't put it down as to all experience. I wouldn't put it down to religion. I base all these things on observation over the years.
Mm.
And it's something I just can't explain everything. But coming back to Stonehenge, pilgrimage. There are many theories of how it got there, why it got there. They say there's some of the stones, not all the stones, come from Carmarthen way over in South Wales.
Yeah.
How they got there is still a mystery. Whether they come over by land, or they were floated across the Bristol Channel to get to Wiltshire, whether they went on the barges up the rivers. It's still a mystery how the stones got there. It's not something you can stick on a wheelbarrow and push across the country. As I say, there's more questions than there is answers. But it's a magical place for me anyway. It's part of my life, it's part of my thoughts. One thing I did notice, if those stones did come from over South Wales, in South Wales there's a place there and there's a stone, I think is it Trellick, just stuck in a field. A stone stuck up in the air. As far as I know, it's called Harold Stone.
Okay.
Nothing else, just one stone.
What, a vertical stone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so big as Stonehenge, it's probably about 10, 12 foot tall. And I knew someone that lived there.
Mm.
And they actually said to me, oh, that's just one of the stones for Stonehenge, it never got there. Whether that's true or not, whether that's just a little story they told me, but for some reason, not beside of a road, not in the village, in the middle of a field, there's a stone standing up in the air 10 foot high. But that's all I know about that stone. But that's the story I was told. He was on his way to Stonehenge but never made it.
But your friends from Liverpool had the same trembling in Stonehenge.
Yeah, they explained it to me, what they got.
How did they explain it?
And it wasn't the whole family. There was a family of 4 or 6 people. But it wasn't everyone that got the same feelings. My father did say to me at that time when I first seen it, he said it might be because of your hands. Soft skin, soft fingers. He was a hard worker, he had hard skin, and it could be that he couldn't feel it. Just one theory, like, you know, but another one is...
But sorry, Ron, but that family, from the Liverpool family, not all of them could feel it.
Oh.
So was that a skin thing, or...?
On a different subject,
Yeah.
but same as I'm talking about now, we have machines which are got buttons on, coffee machines, touch buttons.
Yeah.
And I myself and a lot of other people push a button to get a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. You use your left hand, depends if you're right or left-handed, you use your left hand and it works. Touch sensitive buttons. Just on a coffee machine.
Yeah.
And I've made inquiries on that, and they said, well, a lot of women have got soft fingers.
Oh.
The skin on their fingers are very soft to the touch.
Yeah.
A man is more hard working and he's got thicker skin. And it's more than likely that's a reason Just a thing like a coffee machine is touch sensitive.
Yeah.
So that Stonehenge could be on the same principle.
Yeah. You know, some people are very, very black and white and very practical, and other people think a lot about things, spiritual things. So do you think it could have had anything to do with that? Because you're a very intuitive guy.
I think spiritualism is not something I've studied. Myths, there's legends.
Because your dad must have really wanted to have the same experience as you. He must have been really disappointed when he touched the stones and he couldn't feel that.
He didn't understand what I was talking about and how I knew what I knew.
Yeah.
Because I observed things, we travelled up there, we travelled home. And by very often, in the morning, early afternoon, I knew the way home just by looking at the sun, direction, which is general observation. Like if I look out there now, I think it is late afternoon, it's somewhere around 5 o'clock, just as a guess. That's without going outside, without looking at the sun. I know the sun's over that way somewhere. And I look at that shadow and I can tell the height of the sun on the horizon forming a shadow across the road. I can make a guess that it is somewhere around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which is based on observation.
Yeah.
Instantly, just by looking at that shadow, I can walk along the road and I can see the length of my shadow on the road. And I can use that as a calculation of the time of day. Very similar. We used to travel around, my brothers and sisters when I were young, walking around the countryside. And Mother had a saying. She always said, "Make sure you're home for tea." And all of us, my brothers and my sisters, we knew. And we arrived home in the region of 5 o'clock, ready for tea. I think all my brothers and sisters had that same knowledge. They said, "Come on, we got to hurry up. We're going to be late." There's so many mysteries out there. I'm no expert on any. I'm just saying. I'm repeating things I have got in my mind, experiences I've had in the past. Whether I'm right, whether I'm sane or not, well, that's another question. I think that'll do for today anyway.
Thank you very much, Ron. It's been really lovely chatting. It's been amazing hearing your story about Stonehenge. It really resonates with me. Thank you. Subscribe to Nature Talks with Humans for more true stories of people communicating with animals, birds and landscape. Follow me on Instagram at Estelle_writer44 and TikTok at Estelle Phillips. Bye!